Is Vidor racist? A KKK hotspot? The city reacts. Plus, the suspicious death of a young Aggie could be tied to the internet.
And down by the riverside with one of the more pleasant assignments of the year, I'm Andrea Zinga at Riverfront Park, awaiting the arrival of the king of the Neches River Festival for this year. KBMT 12 News at 5 starts now.
This is KBMT 12 News at 5. More local news for Southeast Texas.
Good afternoon, I'm TRACY KENNICK. Thank you for joining us today. Residents of Vidor say their arms are open to people of all races. Last Saturday, members of the Ku Klux Klan held a rally in Vidor, but the city's mayor says to his knowledge not one member of that group was a Vidor resident. Members of the Klan traveled to Vidor from as far away as Butler, Indiana. The First Amendment prohibits city officials from keeping the Klan out or from spreading its racist message. But those who live in Vidor, both blacks and whites, want people to know Vidor today is much different from in the past, and the Klan is not welcome.
Well, it makes me wish that they would go somewhere else. Vidor certainly has had a bad reputation in the past. We're living past that now. We're moving ahead, trying to be an open city.
I do believe that it increases the bad myth that and the stereotype that the KKK is here. There are actually not as many people in the KKK here in Vidor as there are in different places.
Chambers says she plans to live in her Vidor apartment until she can buy a home, and says so far she has experienced no real problems with racism there. He wasn't shying away from publicity, even though he was a wanted man. This is the man we've known for 4 months as Tim Moore, pizza delivery man shot in the chest in Port Arthur during a confrontation with a group of juveniles. Now it turns out he's also 43-year-old Wilbur Lee Ellison of Alabama, wanted on 3 counts of sexual abuse involving a child and 1 charge of sodomy. The FBI and Port Arthur police took him into custody at a hospital where he'd gone for treatment relating to the shooting.
He acknowledged his identification when confronted with his true name and hung his head.
Very short, sweet, you got me type thing.
He hung his head and had nothing further to say.
Ellison, a.k.a. Moore, will be taken to an identity hearing in federal court tomorrow morning in Beaumont, and then likely extradited to Alabama to face charges there. Officials say an old dryer is to blame for a late-night fire in Port Arthur. This home, located in the 2000 block of East 14th Street, caught fire shortly before 10 o'clock last night. Intense flames caused severe damage to the home. Doretha Shields and her 2 sons were at home at the time but escaped uninjured. The dryer was more than 10 years old. The Grove City Council reverses the decision allowing a controversial church to continue its operations. Last night, the City Council issued a special use permit to His House Family Church with the understanding that it will be used as a church and no more. When the city attempted recently to shut the place down, Pastor Richard Hebert filed suit, saying his religious rights were being violated. Now he's agreed not to conduct drug counseling services at the church. The controversy began when neighbors complained about the type of people frequenting the place. An Aggie student has been killed, and it appears to have been tied to an internet relationship. Cynthia Hunt reports.
On the left is 20-year-old Kerry Kuyava, smiling with his big brother Craig beside him. Tonight, Lucille Kuyava showed us her son's room, full of scholastic awards and track trophies.
I'm so proud of him.
You should be.
I just want him back. I would give up every trophy and every medal and every scholarship if I could just have him back here in this room.
2 years ago, Kuyava graduated from Austin High School as a National Merit finalist and entered Texas A&M as a sophomore in the honors program studying mechanical engineering. But now investigators believe this exceptional student was killed because he met someone on the internet.
This is one time when someone was so clever that they actually were able to take him in. And if they could take him in, they could take anybody in. He was perceptive about people.
Several months ago, Kerry met a girl named Callie on the internet. They started emailing, exchanged pictures, and Kerry told people he really liked her. Then a few weeks ago, on Friday, April 7th, Kerry told his friends and family he was going to San Antonio for the weekend to take care of Kelly because she was having boyfriend problems. When he didn't return, his mother and friends started getting emails, allegedly from him, saying he was okay and would be back in a few days. Now, investigators believe Kerry's killer may have sent those emails.
It was almost 2 full weeks that I was taken in, made a fool of, whatever you want to call it.
Last week, Kerry's body was found on a remote ranch south of Austin in Hays County. The judge investigating the case says Kerry had been dead for quite a while. Christus St. Elizabeth and Memorial Hermann Baptist Hospitals both put their emergency rooms on drive-by status at times this afternoon, meaning they were full. KBMT 12 News reporter Gene Tuck says that's typical of the problems hospital officials talked about in a teleconference today.
Well, Tracy, Congressman Lamson set up that teleconference to bring officials in Washington and patients and local health care leaders together. It was held at Washington University, and the audience was full of people from various segments of the healthcare field. They heard hospital officials from Houston, Galveston, and Beaumont tell how cuts in government funding have greatly reduced patient care in recent years. Hospitals and emergency rooms are shutting down. What might be done about it?
We're presently in a conference committee in an effort to pass a bill called the Patient's Bill of Rights. That Bill of Rights will change to a large extent some of the health care provisions that are presently in law. We hope that this will continue to draw attention at the right levels of policymakers.
Today, patients also talked about how they were denied care or they got poor care because of the cutbacks in facilities and because managed care companies are pressuring doctors. And just last week, another health care chain, a hospital chain, shut down. It was bankrupt, Tracy. So things are tough in the medical field.
Yeah, not good news. All right, thank you, Gene. Well, when the weather is beautiful like it is today, you know, it's time for one of the most beautiful social events of the year in the Triangle, the Neches River Festival. And KBMT 12 News' Andrea Zinga is live down by the riverside. Andrea, what's going on out there?
Well, actually, Tracy, that is the theme of this 52nd annual Neches River Festival, down by the riverside. And in keeping with that, the powers that be, and that would be Zelma Milgram, social chairman, and Mike Payton, president of the festival, have decided to bring it back down to the river. And my compliments, because this is the best possible day on the river. You're wearing green, and that is the color this year, right?
That's correct.
Every year you have your own color?
That's correct.
So why green this year? Any particular reason?
It goes with camo.
Yeah, understood. There was a little talk about doing camo, but that was debated and rejected. All right, the highlight of this year's festival, at least today, is the arrival of the king. And you won't tell us who the king is.
Can't do that until 6 o'clock. Everyone will know at 6.
Big dark secret. Yeah. How will the king arrive?
He'll arrive on a boat coming down the river, and he will be escorted off the boat by one of his good friends, one of the members of the board of directors of the festival, and he will be greeted by some of our royal escorts, our honor guards, and they will escort him to the podium where Mr. Payton will announce who he is, and I will unmask him.
And that will all be happening at 6 o'clock. Now, the importance of the festival to the Triangle, it's been around 52 years, and when you come here, you quickly learn that it is one of the social events of the year.
It celebrates our youth. That's what it's all about. When the festival began in 1948, there were, I think, 6 princesses. This year we have 95 princesses and 24 duchesses from surrounding areas, from anywhere across the state or the country.
Real quickly, what's your favorite part of the whole festival, Mike?
Being with the youth, the seniors of high school, and the parade. The parade will be Saturday, starting at 10 o'clock. And end up down here with activities going on all day long, and the princesses will be announced at that time and their escorts.
If you're a longtime Beaumonter, you know the great part about the Neches River Festival. If you're not, get involved. It's wonderful. We'll be back at 6, Tracy.
All right, and then we will see who will be the next Neches River Festival king. All right, thanks, Andrea. There will soon be a new addition to Pleasure Island. The Texas Department of Transportation is overseeing construction of a bike trail there. The trail will be built between State Highway 82 and Pleasure Pier Boulevard. When complete, the 2.5-mile trail will be wide enough for bicycle and pedestrian traffic. Work on the trail will begin in early May and should be complete by this summer. The total cost is projected at around $134,000. Some cuddly pals for children facing trauma. For the past 3 weeks, area residents have been donating teddy bears earmarked for children of the Garth House and some other place. These children are interviewed in a setting filled with the toys and their taped accounts used as testimony in crimes of abuse committed against them. The children are allowed to take a bear home after their videotaped interview in hopes of easing the pain of the experience.
Stuffed animals quite quickly, and you know, you don't want to deprive a child, especially when they have the consideration of another.
And they say they go through those animals rather quickly, so if you would like to donate a teddy bear, you can call the Garth House. The number is 838-9084. There it is for you. A big evening for many pop music fans at the Montaigne Center. 3 weeks ago, tickets for Elton John concert sold out in 1 hour and 39 minutes. Tonight, those fans will get what they've waited for, Elton John and just his piano. A lot of excited folks for that. In Miami today, the shock and anger over Saturday's raid to claim Elian Gonzalez were translated into a general strike. That story and much more straight ahead on KBMT 12 News at 5. Even though most of Miami saw business as usual today, the normally bustling street life of the city's Cuban section was in scant evidence. Gated storefronts and sparse traffic bore mute witness to the community's hard feelings about Saturday morning's seizure of Elian Gonzalez. ABC's Dean Staley is there.
The streets of Little Havana were nearly deserted today. Virtually all of the stores here locked up. Thousands of Cuban Americans stayed home from work. Business owners shut down and left signs up to explain why. Cuban Americans here showing they are still outraged over the use of force to take 6-year-old Elian Gonzalez from his Little Havana home.
What I saw Saturday, I thought I never in my life I was going to see it in the United States. So I'm very, very, very hurt and very shamed.
The Cuban American community is hoping the silence here will speak louder than the violent protests last Saturday.
This is a way of showing them that by keeping silent, we're still strong and we still can help the cause of Elian.
The general strike caused a major headache at one Miami area school where 45 of the 63 teachers stayed home, leaving just 18 teachers to run the school.
The Phillies all the way in here.
4 players and several coaches for the Florida Marlins are sitting out tonight's game in support of the protest.
We've allowed all of our employees that are in a position where they feel passionate about the situation, that they are free to honor what's taking place and to take the day off.
Along Little Havana's Calle Ocho, people expressed their defiance. Around the rest of Miami, traffic was lighter than usual, but the general strike had little impact. A large protest is expected here at the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami, but police say if demonstrators block traffic or become violent, they're prepared to move in and restore order. Dean Staley, ABC News, Miami.
In today's health news, new information on sudden infant death syndrome. While putting your infant to sleep on his back is a known precaution against SIDS, a recent study shows a lack of awareness among some groups. Dr. Barry Kaufman reports.
Though some 3,000 babies still die from sudden infant death syndrome each year, the number of SIDS deaths has declined nearly 40% since the launching of a Back to Sleep campaign 6 years ago. Parents are advised to place a healthy baby to sleep on its back. Videos such as this, along with aids like reminders that hang on doorknobs and specially marked diapers, are promoting the message that back sleeping is safest, since there's convincing evidence that babies who sleep on their stomachs are at increased risk of dying from SIDS. Dr. Marion Willinger of the National Institute of Child Health and Human Development headed a survey to see what factors influenced a parent or other caregiver's choice of sleeping position.
If they heard a recommendation for back sleep position from all the sources that we asked about, the nurse, the doctor, reading materials, radio or TV, they were 6 times more likely to place the baby on the back. The other thing that we learned, however, was that about 40% of the caregivers reported that the doctor was not making a recommendation at all. And that's unfortunate because the doctor was the most influential source.
The report in the Journal of the American Medical Association also underscores a continuing disparity between African Americans and most other racial groups. the researchers urge greater efforts to promote acceptance of the back-to-sleep message among more African Americans, and for more doctors to actively encourage and support all parents from the moment of birth. Babies who begin sleeping on their backs in the nursery are more likely to get used to sleeping that way throughout infancy. I'm Dr. Barry Kaufman reporting.
Parents who are concerned that their babies might spit up and choke sleeping on their backs can be reassured. Studies show there's no increase in choking when babies sleep on their backs. And to get free back-to-sleep information, you can call toll-free 1-800-505-CRIB. As a parent, you want the best care for your child, of course. So in today's parenting report, KBMT 12 News' Mia Gradney offers advice on finding the right pediatrician.
Waiting until your newborn or child becomes sick is not the time to find a pediatrician. This is a relationship experts say should develop at childbirth and last through adolescence. Pediatrician Renee Brown suggests determining what's most important to you when looking for a pediatrician.
First, they have to decide what do they like, what is most important to them in a pediatrician. Is it to be kind and compassionate? Is it to have very accessible hours? Is it to always see the same person every time, because there are different types of practices, and where you go is going to determine what you've decided you want is going to determine where you go.
For Sharon Stevenson, a mother of 4, including 4-month-old Christian, choosing her pediatricians was based on their compassion and honesty.
Well, somebody that would tell me the truth, not just sit there and say, okay, you know, your baby's doing fine, and then there'll be something that they don't want to tell me. I just want somebody that's going to be straightforward.
Like Sharon, once you decide what's important, it's good to meet with your child's doctor prior to a regular visit.
It's important for the parent to get an idea of what the pediatrician is going to be like dealing with their child. Nobody likes everybody, so, you know, you might not like the person, and that's okay. Then you go on to plan B.
Besides the doctor's attitude, Dr. Brown also suggests making sure the atmosphere is child-friendly. If your child is content, both of you are likely to have a stress-free visit to the doctor. For Channel 12 Parenting, I'm Mia Gradney.
Wheels on the web? Should you buy your next car in cyberspace? So look at the pros and cons next on KBMT 12 News at 5.
We're still looking for pictures for Outdoorsman of the Week. Send me your best outdoor picture right up here to Billy Houston, KBMT 12, and you'll be a star.
This portion of KBMT 12 News is brought to you by Chevrolet.
If you want to buy a new or used car, should you use the internet? Gene Tuck takes a look at how the web is revolutionizing car shopping.
When Ray Araujo wanted a used Lincoln Continental to shuttle clients for his auto detailing business, he hopped on the web and found one.
We walked away with the car we wanted, paid the price we wanted to pay.
Araujo credits the web work he did, traveling from one car site to another. Edmunds, CarPoint, Kelly Blue Book, and Car Price. They helped him research prices.
Gave me the information, both the retail Blue Book and the wholesale. And then you're able to go and find the car you want.
According to all the research that we've done, consumers are finding a great deal of value in shopping for cars on the internet.
You'd expect Mark Hickling, head of Microsoft's CarPoint, to think the web is where they should buy, but sites like his aren't just buying services, they're a revolutionary new way to shop.
Not that many years ago, a person would have had to go to a magazine stand, a bookstore, to the dealer's lot in order to amass even half of what they could get in one evening now on the internet.
Some websites will even suggest other models and makes that are worth considering, so that you can compare them and get the information on how they're rated all around for safety, reliability.
Gene Tuck, KBMT 12 News.
Next up, some pesky night visitors. Dale Jones will show us how much insect repellent we'll need to stock up on. But first, he has a look at that forecast.
Well, you know, Southeast Texas is not really known for its low humidity, but we almost lead the state in that category today. We'll talk more about our local forecast up next.
Tonight's weather on KBMT 12 News is brought to you by Market Basket.
Yet another beautiful day across the region. A little rain toward the Red River Valley early this morning, but here, sunny skies. How could it be any prettier? Well, I certainly don't know. It is very nice indeed. Warm temperatures, low humidity, and still clear skies forecast overnight. Tonight, As we check out the relative humidity, notice we are among the lowest relative humidity in the entire region, 33%. Boy, we'll enjoy that as long as we can, because we know around here the humidity starts to come up this time of year. And we'll do so by about Thursday. Regional temperatures show, yeah, it's warm again off to the south and west, but very pleasant temperatures. Little Rock 73, Lubbock at 76. As noted here, we are presently at 81 degrees, humidity at 33%. Enjoy that. Low humidity this evening, overnight tonight. Winds out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Here for our evening forecast, look for starlight, star bright. Conditions nice, temperatures 70s and 60s. Going to be a great evening. And you know, as the evening approaches, it is a time when some unwanted guests often show up. I'm speaking of mosquitoes. You may have heard recent reports that thanks to two very heavy rain events earlier this month, southeast Texas is in for a huge mosquito outbreak. But according to one expert, this bark is much bigger than the mosquito's bite.
What happened is so much water was hitting the ground and running off so quickly. The water was so turbulent that they couldn't stick their little snorkels up in order to breathe, and they drowned. So that was a good one.
Too much rain in a short time can certainly produce flooding, yet it also washes away mosquitoes. And at 6, we'll talk more about these pesky pests. Tracy?
You're making me itch over here, Dale. Thanks so much for that report. Still to come, the Spice Girls demanding first class all the way. We'll explain in a moment, but first, a check of your local stocks.
If you see news happen, call the 12 News hotline at 838-1212. GTE Cellular customers can call toll-free by dialing star 12. And for the latest weather information, call the 12 Weather Line. Channel 12 News closed captioning for the hearing impaired is brought to you by the Huntsman Corporation.
Now here's the latest on what's happening in Hollywood. Don't expect to hear the Spice Girls singing the praises of British Airways. The airline lost Posh Spice Victoria Beckham's luggage. According to a British tabloid, Beckham is now demanding lifetime first-class tickets as compensation.
I think they're out to crucify you.
Yemen is calling for an Arab boycott of Rules of Engagement. The nation's official newspaper claims the movie, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel Jackson, unfairly depicts the people of Yemen as killers and terrorists.
From the depths of the sea, back to the black Snoop Doggy Dogg Funky gets the...
Look for a rap tour de force this summer. Snoop Dogg will hit the road with fellow rappers Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. Their tour begins next month in San Diego. From rock star to movie star, John Bon Jovi is making the switch with a bang. Right now, you can see him in the box office hit U-571. Coming soon, the former Bon Jovi frontman will join Oscar winner Kevin Spacey in Play It Forward. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. For the entire 12 News team, I'm Tracy Kennick. Thanks for choosing 12 News at 5. Good night.